Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviriyam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Maybe one of you can let me know what page that we were on. I missed my marker.
Technically, chapter 12, Acharya ji.
Chapter 12.
We left at 4, but we can go back from the beginning.
See. Okay. Chapter 12. The person is not reality.
Correct.
Right. So we start from the beginning. Kindly tell us how you realized. I met my guru when I was 34 and realized by 37. What happened? What was the change? Pleasure and pain lost their sway over me. I was free from desire and fear. I found myself full, needing nothing. I saw that in the ocean of pure awareness, on the surface of the universal consciousness, the numberless waves of the phenomenal worlds arise and subside, beginninglessly and endlessly. As consciousness, they are all me. As events, they are all mine. There is a mysterious power that looks after them. That power is awareness, self, life, God, whatever name you give it. It is the foundation, the ultimate support of all that is. Just like gold is the basis for all gold jewelry, and it is so intimately ours. Abstract the name and shape from the jewelry, and the gold becomes the obvious. Be free of name and form and of the desires and fears they create. Then what remains? Nothingness. Yes, the void remains, but the void is full to the brim. It is the eternal potential as consciousness is eternal actual. By potential, you mean the future, past, present, and future. They are all there and infinitely more. But since the void is void, it is of little use to us. How can you say so? Without breach in continuity, how can there be a rebirth? Can there be renewal without death? Even the darkness of sleep is refreshing, arid, regenerating. Without death, we would have been bogged down forever in eternal senility. Is there no such thing as immortality? When life and death are seen as essential to each other, as two aspects of one being, that is immortality. To see the end in the beginning and the beginning in the end is the intimation of eternity. Definitely, immortality is not continuity. Only the process of change continues, nothing lasts. Awareness lasts. Awareness is not of time. Time exists in consciousness only. Beyond consciousness, where are time and space? Within the field of consciousness, there is your body also. Of course, but the idea My body, as different from other bodies, is not there. To me, it is a body, not my body. A mind, not my mind. The mind looks after the body all right. I need not interfere. What needs to be done is being done in the normal and natural way. You may not be quite conscious of your you may not be conscious of your psychological functions, but when it comes to thoughts and feelings, desires and fears, you become actually self-conscious. To me, these two are largely unconscious. I found myself talking to people or doing things quite correctly and appropriately without being very much conscious of them. It looks as if I live my physical waking life automatically, reacting spontaneously and accurately. Does this spontaneous response come as a result of realization or by training? Both. Devotion to your goal makes you live a clean and orderly life, given to search for truth and to helping people, and realization makes noble virtue easy and spontaneous. By removing for good the obstacles in the shape of desires and fears and wrong ideas. Don't you have desire and fear anymore? My destiny was to be born a simple man, a commoner, a humble tradesman with little formal education. My life was of a common kind, with common desires and fears. When through my faith in my teacher and obedience to his words, I realized my true being. I left behind my human nature to look after itself until its destiny is exhausted. Occasionally, an old reaction, emotional or mental, happens in the mind, but it is at once noticed and discarded. After all, as long as one is burdened with a person, one is exposed to its idiosyncrasies and habits. Are you not afraid of death? I am dead already. In what sense? I am double dead. Not only am I dead to my body, but to my mind too. Well, you do not look dead at all. That's what you say. You seem to know my state better than I do. Sorry, but I just do not understand. You say you are bodiless and mindless, while I see you very much alive and articulate. A tremendously complex work is going on all the time in your brain and body. Are you conscious of it? Not at all. Yet, for an outsider, all seems to be going on intelligently and purposefully. Why not admit that one's entire personal life may sink largely below the threshold of consciousness and yet proceed sanely and smoothly? Is it normal? What is normal? Is your life obsessed by desires and fears, full of strife and struggle, meaningless and joyless? Is that normal? To be acutely conscious of your body, is it normal? A healthy body, a healthy mind live largely unperceived by their owner. Only occasionally, through pain or suffering, they call for attention and insight. Why not extend the same to the entire personal life? One can function rightly, responding well and fully to whatever happens without having to bring it into the focus of awareness. When self-control becomes second nature, the awareness shifts its focus to deeper levels of existence and actions. Don't you become a robot? What harm is there in making automatic? What is habitual and repetitive? It is automatic anyhow. But when it is also chaotic, it causes pain and suffering and calls for attention. The entire purpose of a clean and well-ordered life is to liberate men from the trail of chaos and the burden of sorrow. You seem to be in favor of computerized life. What is wrong with a life which is free from problems? Personality is merely a reflection of the real. Why should not the reflection be true to the original as matter of course? Need the person have any design of its own? The life of which it is an expression will guide it. Once you realize that the person is merely a shadow of the reality, but not reality itself, you cease to fret and worry. You agree to be guided from within, and life becomes journey into the unknown. We read this page 36, the question, two more questions, and we repeat them. Don't you become robot? What harm is there in making automatic what is habitual and repetitive? It is automatic anyhow. When it is also chaotic, it causes pain and suffering and calls for attention. The entire purpose of a clean and well-ordered life is to liberate man from the thrall of chaos and burden of sorrow. You seem to be in favor of computerized life. What is wrong with life which is free from problems? Personality is merely a reflection of the real. Why should not the reflection be true to the original as matter of course, automatically? Need the person have any design of its own? The life of which it is an expression will guide it. Once you realize that the person is merely a shadow of reality, but not reality itself, you cease to fret and worry. You agree to be guided from within, and life becomes journey into the unknown. Do you have any observation, any comments so far? I tried to read slowly, repeating a couple of questions so that we are totally engaged in what we read. All right, then we continue.
Acharya, in this chapter,
Yes.
one thing strikes means which is like a very good example, like gold ornaments. We all know it's very nice example means it strikes, is it touches, and I throughout the week I stayed with this thought. And whenever we wear any gold ornament or we see any, it is gold and it is truth. But similarly, it applies to us, means consciousness. But the irony is we can't see that. We have to study and we have to deliberate and put effort. Though it's a fact, a very good example means.
Yeah, true, you are right. And that's why the example of jewelry, ornaments of and gold, and also there is another very popular example of the ocean, the water in the ocean and the waves. The waves and the water in the ocean are two different things. There cannot be waves without the ocean, and ocean has the natural ability to form the wave. So the bubbles of the wave has its life, and that compared to the life that we have, it exists in the water, and it has no existence without being in the water. Similarly, the consciousness is what allows us to perceive, see, and feel all our sense organs through our sense organs if there is no consciousness. Now here, the major question in this book, remember, we have just finished reading Tattva-bodha, where the emphasis was on consciousness, Brahman. Yeah, if you remember, it always referred to it as a Brahman, or the God, or the Supreme Self. Whereas in this book, it is emphasizes on awareness. Now try to remember the difference. What is the difference, if there is any difference, of consciousness and awareness? If you underline some of the statement of Maharaj, he emphasized all the time about the awareness. Even in this chapter, he says the consciousness is universal, yeah? But in that, and that is eternal. But to feel, to recognize that consciousness, you need awareness. Now, if you are not aware that there is a tremendous possibility or potentiality in this universe, to you, the different galaxies or different solar system is just a matter of information. You have no connectivity to that, which means in most cases, we are not aware of that existence. And yet it exists. Consciousness is everywhere, omnipresent. But if you are not aware to it, it does not exist. So Maharaj emphasized more of being aware. That awareness of, if you are aware of awareness, in other words, you remain in the simpler language, it can also be said to be in meditative state. Like you said, you thought about jewelry and the gold. If Saguna and Nirguna Brahman in Tattva-bodha, Nirguna Brahman is always there, but we do not see it, we miss it. The reason? We always see the Saguna, we always see the ornament. We take it for granted, the gold. Yeah, without knowing that without that gold, there cannot be ornament. But we take it for granted and we do not give any recognition or importance to that part. We admire different qualities and colors and shape of ornament as a design or jewelry, forgetting the essence of that is gold. So same thing applies to our own lifestyle, that we take it for granted, our breathing, we take it for granted, our heartbeats, we take it for granted that we are alive. Yeah, and what keeps us alive? That energy, that consciousness, and beyond all that, awareness. Remember, this is a spiritual science. It is not just that you read a couple of books and you get to know about it. It is a science by itself. But it's a science of the nature which can only be experienced. It cannot be experimented. Science, you can experiment. You can go to the laboratory and do certain mixtures or combinations and try to find the answer. In spirituality, it is your own personal experiences, but it is a science. Becomes experiential if you apply to your lifestyle. Should we continue? The Supreme, the mind, and the body. From what you have told us, it appears that you are not quite conscious of your surroundings. To us, you seem extremely alert and active. We cannot possibly believe that you are in a kind of hypnotic state which leaves no memory behind. On the contrary, your memory seems excellent. How are we to understand your statement that the world and all it includes does not exist as far as you are concerned? Very common question. Most of us have this kind of question in mind. It is all matter of focus. Your mind is focused in the world. Mind is focused in reality. It is like the moon in daylight. When the sun shines, the moon is hardly visible. Or watch how you take your food. As long as it is in your mouth, you are conscious of it. Once swallowed, it does not concern you any longer. It would be troublesome to have it constantly in mind until it is eliminated. The mind should be normally in abeyance, incessant. Activity is a morbid state. The universe works by itself. That I know, what else do I need to know? Yeah, he emphasized, take the existence, the manifestation, and all what is happening in the universe or in the nature as a divine design. Or in other simple word is whatever has to happen will happen. It is not a matter of our choice or our likes and dislikes. It is part of the divine plan or divine design. And so he says it would be troublesome to have it constantly in mind until it is eliminated. The mind should be normally in abeyance, incessant. Activity is morbid state. The universe works by itself. That I know. What else do I need to know? So a gnani knows what he is doing only when he turns his mind to it. Otherwise, he just acts without being concerned. The average man is not conscious of his body as such. He is conscious of his sensations, feelings, and thoughts. Even these, once detachment sets in, move away from the center of consciousness and happen spontaneously and effortlessly. What then is in the center of consciousness? That which cannot be given name and form, for it is without quality and beyond consciousness. You may say it is a point of consciousness, like a hole in a paper is both in the paper and yet not of the paper. So is the supreme state in the very center of consciousness and yet beyond consciousness. It is as if there is an opening in the mind through which the mind is flooded with light. The opening is not even the light, it is just an opening. It's worth reading again. So a gnani knows what he is doing only when he turns his mind to it. Otherwise, he just acts without being concerned. The average man is not conscious of his body as such. He is conscious of his sensations, feelings, and thoughts. Even these, once detachment sets in, move away from the center of consciousness and happens spontaneously, effortlessly. What then is the center of consciousness? That which cannot be given name and form, for it is without quality and beyond consciousness. You may say it is point of consciousness, like a hole in a paper is both in the paper and yet not of the paper. So is the supreme state in the very center of consciousness and yet beyond consciousness. It is as if there is an opening in the mind through which the mind is flooded with light. The opening is not even the light, it is just an opening. An opening is just a void, absence. Quite so. From the mind's point of view, it is but an opening for the light of awareness to enter the mental space. By itself, the light can only be compared to a solid, dense, rock-like, homogeneous changeless mass of pure awareness, free from the mental patterns of name and shape. Yeah, so just imagine, after all, everybody has to take a support of words to form a sentence to express the something which is beyond expression. So if you have to express or describe or explain something that is beyond all words and expressions, the best that you can do is use some words that can give some light on what we are talking about. And that's what Maharaj is trying to do. He says, an opening is just a void, was the question. Now, what is opening? Do you realize what is referred as opening? Realization. Realization that you are in that state. Remember, try to connect it with our subject of Tattvabodhas and other yogic lifestyle, where we connect to words which we say four state, of being. Waking state, like now, dream state, deep sleep state, and the fourth state, which is in all three, which is Turiya, consciousness. Now, keep that in back of your mind and read this. An opening is just a void, absence. Quite so. From the mind's point of view, it is but an opening for the light of awareness to enter the mental space. By itself, the light can only be compared to a solid, dense, rock-like, homogeneous and changeless mass of pure awareness, free from the mental patterns of name and shape. What is free of name and shape? The awareness, the Turiya, state of Turiya. Is there any connection between the mental space and the supreme abode? Now, here, the question itself refers to duality. Yeah, and we will see what Maharaj replies. But the question reflects the duality. He says, is there any connection between mental space and the supreme abode? Yeah. The supreme gives existence to the mind. The mind gives existence to the body. And what lies beyond? Take an example. A venerable yogi, a master in the art of longevity, himself over 1,000 years old, comes to teach me his art. I fully respect and sincerely admire his achievements. Yet, all I can tell him is, of what use is longevity to me? I am beyond time. However long life may be, it is but a moment and a dream. In the same way, I am beyond all attributes. They appear and disappear in my life, but cannot describe me. The universe is all names and forms based on qualities and their differences. While I am beyond the world, is there because I am, but I am not the world. You see? Now I would like one of you to read the last question and answer. I want you to be fully involved in what we are reading and try to get it. Please read the question.
Same question, Acharya. What lies?
Yes, please. Yes.
And what lies beyond? Take an example. A venerable yogi, a master in the art of longevity, himself over 1,000 years old, comes to teach me his art. I fully respect and sincerely admire his achievements, yet all I can tell him is, of what use is longevity to me? I am beyond time. However long a life may be, it is but a moment and a dream. In the same way, I am beyond all attributes. They appear and disappear in my light, but cannot describe me. The universe is all names and forms based on qualities and their differences, while I am beyond the world is there because I am, but I am not the world. The universe is all names and forms based on qualities and their differences, while I am beyond the world is there because I am, but I am not the world.
You see the last sentence. The word is there because I am. And when we say word means the entire manifestation, complete existence. We do not even know what is complete existence. For a moment, if you can just shut eyes and try to ask yourself, what is the manifestation? What is this existence? To us, the manifestation and existence only limited to what we have ever learned or heard or read or informed, which could be our planet, maybe the solar system, maybe the sun, maybe the galaxy, maybe the solar system and galaxy. We do not know that the galaxy that we are into, Milky Way, has billions and billions of stars like sun as we know, countless planets as Earth, and yet it is yet a small galaxy. There are trillions and trillions of galaxies apart from our galaxy. And yet, science says that that is formation of only 7% or 3 to 7% of the existence. Rest is dark energy and dark matter. Okay, you imagine by word dark energy, dark matter. But the science says the universe is expanding at the speed of trillions of light speed. It's expanding. Expanding into what? Unless there is a space, what could expand? Into what? So when you bring that kind of things in your mind and you say, that is existence, that is manifestation, that is universe, all that is because I am. And yet, I am not in that. Now, what does it mean? I am not in that. I am beyond the world is there. I am, but I am not the world. It is similar as in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells repeatedly in chapter 2, chapter 9, people think they are in me and I am in them. They dwell in me, and the idea of they dwell in me, and yet I do not exist, and yet I am not in there, which means in our consciousness, because of our limitation of jiva, our samskara, our karmas, and that's how it refers into Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, the word exists because I am, but I am not the word, which means I am not limited to what appears as a word. I'm much more than what appears to be. And that is not just the matter of reading of Maharaj or any Jnani or any self-realization person. It is equally, perfectly same to all of us. For all of us, we are that. We are that consciousness and awareness. And so all what you see is because you are. And if you are not, there's nothing exists. Nothing exists. So this is the language used in the Upanishads. But in a simple language, compare yourself with a person who is in coma, sleeping at home or in hospital, and in the state of coma, where he is not conscious of his body, he's not conscious of his surrounding, and yet he is alive, he is not dead. Now, what is missing in person who is in coma? What is missing?
Consciousness,
Awareness.
awareness.
Without consciousness, he would be dead. But he's not dead. And yet he's in coma. In other words, he's not aware of that consciousness. He's not aware of that being alive, or his body, or his mind, thoughts. And so science calls him a person in coma. So consciousness is what we are. We need to be aware of it. And once we establish that I am that supreme consciousness, then all that exists, whether it is sentient or insentience, everything is the same consciousness. I think it's a wonderful question. And last sentence, I am beyond the world. Sorry, I am beyond the world is there because I am, but I am not the world. I think we stop here and just try to reflect on what we have read. This reminds me of our one chanting this sloka that I mentioned some time back about. That is full, this is full. This full comes from that full. And yet the fullness of that full remains full. F-U-L-L. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnatsya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Remember the sloka? That exactly is this, what we say. It is I am that allows the existence to be in existence. If I am is missing, there is no existence. Yeah. Purnamada, that which is complete, or that which is infinite. Purnamidam. This, when we said this, entire manifestation is also complete. Purnat Purnamudachyate. From the infinite, this is born. Purnatsya Purnamadaya. Taking away infinitude, this does not exist. That means taking away that, when we said that, we talk referring it to consciousness. This does not exist. Purnameva Vasishyate. Only what remains is the consciousness, infinite.
Thank you, God, for giving us.
Thank you, God, for giving us sun for energy.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God, for giving us food to eat. Thank you, God, for giving us good health and happiness. Thank you, God, for giving us positivity. Thank you, God, for giving us all that we deserve. Thank you, God, for your love, your protection, your guidance, your blessings. Thank you, God, for the existence. Thank you for giving me a chance to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Acharya.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Acharya.
Thank you.